Alright, y'all. So we're gonna have a different kind of video today. So what we're gonna be doing is a site setup for kids' dorms in on Oregon. So something that I've noticed from watching a lot of other content creators when they do like how-tos, how to get better, how to set up site, whatever, is they don't really go into super specific details about why they're doing what they're doing. They go into the basics, like why they reinforce this because it's default, or why they reinforce, or why they open set hole because it gives you line of sight. But I'm gonna explain more. There's trade-offs, ghost pressure, that sort of thing. So if you enjoy this kind of video, comment down below what site you want to see next, or any other kind of videos. As a matter of fact, I'm open to all kinds of content. And yeah, hope you enjoy the video. Alright, for starters, you're going to want to reinforce this wall. So the reason why, if this is open, or if the attackers open it because it's not reinforced, then they have an angle into attic. They can see rotate, attic rotate, kids rotate. And they can also see, if they walk in, they can see kid's door. And if this is open, which usually it is, they can see into pops. So this one is really important to keep reinforced. Oh, it's annoying. This one's really important to keep reinforced, and you're going to want wall denial on this wall too, but I will get into that later. For now, first part is just going to be basic reinforcements. Lines of sight, then niche lines of sight, and then utility placement, that sort of thing. While I'm here, I might as well do this. So, first of all, the reason why you want this reinforced is while you don't see attic takes very often, you do not want to make it easier for the attackers to take it. So, this keeps anyone that's coming T2, T3, whatever, from getting lines of sight into attic, or from opening attic wall and pushing through. So, the reason why the hatch is open is because you can get angles into meeting here, which is right down here. And you can stop anyone from nading below, because they might try to nade the denial that's off this wall from below. But, hold up, because it gets better. I believe this is at the right angle, but we'll see. So if you put shotgun holes there, and you come back up to attic hatch, you can have a line of sight onto the T1 stairs. The reason why this is important is because sometimes they will try to nade from below, but they don't want to expose themselves. So what they do is they stay on the stairs and they nade this wall still from that side of the stairs, and the blast radius will still get whatever is on this wall. So what this does is it stops this wall from giving them safety. You can also go all the way across if you'd like, which would let you see. You can see just, you can't quite see the black box that's right here on T1, but you can see all the way down the stairs, and you can see part way up. It's useful. Another thing I'll do really quick here is I'm going to reinforce this side, and only this side, of the attic wall. The reason why I'm going to do that is because if they manage to get this open, and this wall's soft, or even worse, open, they can now watch you as you swing from trophy door. From in attic. It cuts off a huge area where you can put pressure. Another thing is sometimes it's pretty common to see that you'll see head holes here. I'm about to explain to you why you don't do that. Because, same scenario, they break into attic. Now, they can see into master. You're doing master flank? Okay, well now you're dead. You're trying to flank main? Okay, well now you're also dead. And they don't even have to risk themselves by exposing themselves to anyone with kids, because they can just stay back here in attic and hold an angle. So, what I like to do instead, feet holes. Okay, I'm going to make the default rotate here too, just for this. I just messed that up as well. I'll get into the other part later, but feet holes here. Yes, you're exposed to breach for now, but you have a nice long angle to watch main. So, let's see. Another thing. Holes above. The reason why you want holes above is because you can C4 over. I would not recommend smoking over because I'll show you. You can, but it doesn't really provide much of a smoke. I would recommend smoking under because you have these perfect feed holes here. You throw your smoke here, it will cover that same area all the way around here. This is much more useful for denying an area. Next, this is technically a niche spot, I should say, for later, but it's important site setup. We'll do it right now anyways. You're going to want this rotate here to be tall. You're also going to want this reinforced. Let's start with the reinforcement, and I'll explain why you want it tall. Reinforcement, they get kids control. They come in from attic, or not attic, sorry. They come in from double window. They come in from white, whatever. They get kids control. You're playing an attic. If they know that you're there, for example, you just killed a guy in trophy, they can just wallbang you. And there's a common shield spot here. So if the shield is here, you can't just run the short way around because you got the shield in the way. So you got to run around the shield to here in order to try to get safe from here. And that time, you're probably going to be wallbanged to dead. But with this reinforced, you can either run around like I just did and give yourself a little bit of cover with this, or you could choose to contest a guy in kids with this shield as this reinforcement has a little bit of extra cover. So the reason why you want it tall is actually this. Really simple. So you come up to this bookcase, or this, sorry, not bookcase. What am I thinking? Coming up to this dresser, you look over here, and you'll see a vault prompt. So you vault up, you get up on this corner, and now you can watch that stage drop. The same one I was telling you would have an angle on trophy. So the reason why having the footholds there is also important is because it will force them, if they want to get an angle on trophy, to drop stage right here. Meaning they will expose themselves to you, because this is not necessarily a common angle. It is a fairly common angle. I'd say anything like above like plat 2 or something like that. But it's a little bit of a niche, better angle, basically. Something else I will do is you want to reinforce this side of kids. The reason why I reinforce this side is because it provides just a little bit extra cover to anyone sitting here, and it also provides a little bit extra cover even like here. And I'll explain why in a second. So, firstly, you can have head holes, whatever. So, you can have the rotate on either side. So, if you have it, I'm just going to make a really wide rotate all the way around. I would not recommend doing this. I'd recommend picking one or the other, but I'll show you why. So, if you're out here, and it's on this side, all you have, you can challenge the pixel, and there we go, it cuts off like right here. You can't see the bomb, you can't see any of that. But this is covered off. You don't have the angle on the pixel, which is right here. But you do have this angle. So you can either get wall bang from the pixel, or you'll be forced to contest this angle here, which this one is really very much a two-way street, because if someone's playing here, which is default kids head glitch pretty much for white, yeah, sure, you have a pretty good angle on them, but they also have a pretty good angle on you, because they have this giant ass bed for cover. Like, even if whether they're close or whether they're far behind it's a small tower, it doesn't matter. You have this as cover, and since you're this close to cover, it'll give you a pretty good angle. Alright, the next bit, I'll explain why I'm doing this. So, some people put rotate here. Don't. Some people just put head holes. Don't. Put a small rotate right here. The reason why you want to do that is because attacker comes up white. With this rotate, they can't see much of anything. But if it was all the way across, they could see Bolo. They could see this trophy door. They could do all of that without exposing themselves to kids. So it's just a one massive angle that you're just giving the attackers. But with this here, you can still contest breach from here and not be exposed to white. You don't need to be like all the way back here with head holes if you want to contest breach. You could be right here. Or you yourself, if it's like a 1vx, or not 1vx, it's xv1, I suppose. You yourself can sit on white if you know that they're coming from breach. You get a free pick. Alright, let's see what else. I would like to see this hatch open, because if they're pushing site really hard, they're full flood, you need to drop. You drop here, you can have multiple places to flank around. So that's... I'll explain that right now. So, let's say it's 1v5 for you, right? Enemies just planted. Or maybe even better, they didn't, but let's just say they planted. If people generally make mistakes when they're given more time to make them. So, what dropping does is gives them, who are eager to go for that last kill, more time to make mistakes. Whether that be rushing you, whether that be stacking up and getting collateraled, it doesn't matter. If you can waste a little bit more time, even if Diffuser is already down, to get a couple of free picks, making it a 1v3 instead of a 1v5 because 2 of them rushed you and died, that's already a better scenario, even if you had to drop. Sure, you don't have site control anymore, but with the fact that they had almost full site control, and there's 5 of them, dropping is pretty much your best chance. Another thing, unless the site is down here, don't open up here, because if you open up here, I'm just going to open this just to show you, they can come in dining, and look at that. They've got a nice angle on your rotate here, and towards the door. You can't quite see the door, but you get the point. Alright, and I believe that covers all rotates and reinforcements. So you got 3 reinforcements left. You can use them as you'd like. Some people may want to reinforce this wall or whatever, if they want to hold like some weird angle. I prefer not to. If you want to have a more extended roam, you could have a reinforcement here, you could have a rotate here, you could have shield or whatever played here. Now it's for the fun stuff. Now it's for the niche angles. Hopefully this part at least will be somewhat more educational for people of the higher ranks. I'm not necessarily a very good player, but I like to think that my site setup is at least relatively decent. So, when you open a vertical angle like this, that puts on pressure, even if you're not there. So let me explain. There are 2 kinds of pressure. There's ghost pressure, and there's actual pressure. So actual pressure is when you're actively standing there, holding an angle, peeking, whatever, using your body and positioning to create pressure, basically the threat of death for the attackers, or enemies in this case, or attackers in this case, enemies as a whole. Ghost pressure is when you're not there, but the threat still remains because they don't know that. If this angle is open, even if you're not playing there, they're going to see it and still have to be wary of it, which could have them hesitate and give you time to either come over here and kill them, or find another angle to kill them. Either way, it's overall a good idea. Next angle, here. This one lets you see, classroom door, classroom window, and most of inside classroom. If they come from Z and try to nade, you hear the nade pull, which you should because the floor is open here, you're going to want to run. Because they will still be able to nade, they'll nade the stuff off the wall, but they won't be able to kill you. So you'll have to probably likely reposition yourself, maybe you'll go bolo, maybe you'll go by default shield here, but saving your body, it's best to not try to contest the guy nading. I mean, I guess you could, since the door is right here. So if you have the shotgun or whatever, and you could just put 1 shot here, because they're going to have to peek it, and just sit here holding this angle. That's a little bit more of a rough thing, though. And you can't, because doing this, if you're over here, will also expose yourself to your feet to this door here. If they're already in classroom, which is an even worse scenario. There's some other niche angles for roaming. For example, you want an angle on the main door. You got here. If you want to watch the big window jumping, you have security right down here. There's a castle strat down there if you want to watch me. That I've been thinking about. So if you want to see a video on that, let me know down in the comments as well. And you can also choose to open this and get a really long angle to attic from below. Or you can also do this opposite. So you can open this, open the wall, and hold from up here and kill someone below that's just rushing in through basement. It's a really long angle and it really pisses the attackers off. Alright, so now for utility. So let's start with shields, right? 2 default shield placements, and I'll explain why both. There we go. This one here lets you see trophy. It also lets you contest breach, although contesting breach gives you a slightly smaller angle, but it's still covered. And you know what else it does? Remember that prone angle that I said was able to be seen by breach? Can I? Well, now it can't be. I mean, I think it technically can just a little bit, but you can fall back more, hold a tighter angle, since the edge of the thing is right here. You will see their feet regardless, and you will be safe while doing so. So, that's the reason for this. There isn't really any trade-offs for this shield, because there's not really any other angles that you get exposed to by playing on the shield. Just be wary of breach if you're on the prone angle. The other angle, default shield, is here. So what this does, remember this when I said, so whenever you make a rotate, line of sight, whatever, you're making yet another angle for the attackers to have to watch. But you don't just need to make rotates for that, because you also have shields, which can do the exact same thing. So this one lets you hold a pixel on breach. It is farther back, it lets you do so. If you push it forward more, you still have the angle on breach, which is given, is wider, but you're also less exposed to white. So the trade-off for this shield is that if you want to have it farther up and be more exposed to breach, have more of an angle, you become less exposed to white. But if you push it back farther to hold a pixel on breach, you become more exposed to white. So really just what you want to choose to be exposed to. Alright, so default shields there and there. Next would be overall operator lineup. So I'd recommend Smoke, Mute, Jaeger as givens. And then you could either do a Cade, Bandit, or Melusi, and I'll explain that in a second. And then for the last operator, you could just need someone else with a shield. So Frost, Echo, Tachanka, Alibi, Warden. So let's explain Mute first. Mute, you probably want to bring a shotgun. As you see, I only have 3 rounds left in my shotgun. The smoke included that will lighten the load on the smoke. I think I said smoke twice. And the mute shotgun here that will lighten the load on the smoke. So you will also assist in making rotates. If there is a Cade, Bandit, wall denial, you will place a mute jammer here. A mute jammer here. I'll explain both of these. For this mute jammer here, if it's on the other side, you can get a pixel right here in trophy without having to expose yourself at all, as the attackers can. But here, you have to expose yourself, A, attic shield, B, default breach shield, and then you have to expose yourself to bunks, and then table, and then white, and then bolo, and then whoever's playing here but breach before you can get this mute jammer. That is a strong mute jammer. Same goes for here. I've mispaired. Right here. Because in order for you to shoot, see if the mute jammer was on this side, you can shoot it from white without having to really expose yourself to much of anything. But here, you'll have to expose yourself to the kids head glitch, and just kids as a whole, and also default bunks rotate, just to get this mute jammer. It's also a strong one. So now, those two, you will put every time, no matter what. If you have wall denial, I would recommend putting your other jammers, one here, to stop anyone from coming in through the windows. Or anyone droning in through the windows, sorry. And the other you can place wherever you want. You can do double window. You could just put like one here. You can put one here to stop the droning in from here as well, and to stop this wall from being gotten. And that's pretty much your entire thing. And then as mute, you should most likely play in here somewhere, so you can use your C4 to C4 over. Oh, and here's another thing. When you're choosing the C4 over, right? You need to be careful because since you have the prone angle here, it gives them a decent angle. You can't hide behind like a head glitch or whatever for his head holes. So what you would want to do is you want to make sure that there's no one here, and then you could just C4 over, probably at this angle. It'll most likely fall around here, and that should kill most anyone in Trophy. Because the blast radius comes all the way out to here. And that's just, I think you might be able to get away if you do this, maybe, but that's about it. Next, Jaeger. So you're going to want an ADS on Polo. You can either have it on the wall or on the floor. If you have it on the floor, it's a little bit more difficult to shoot from Gen Repel. If you have it on the wall, it's just easier. I don't know why you would have it on the wall. It's just personal preference, to be honest. Next, you're going to want here. And the final one, you can place wherever you'd like. You can place it on double window. You can place it right here to stop this default shield from getting gotten. And I'll explain all this in a second. Or you can place one here. Or you can also place one here. Or you can also place one here. It doesn't really matter. You can place it wherever you want. So I'll explain everyone. So I already explained this one. If you have it on the floor, you can't get shot from Gen. Anyone trying to nade into here, either attic shield or default shield, will have whatever utility there is taken away from them. Add one here. Same goes. So it takes any flashbangs, grenades, whatever thrown into Gen, or any into kids, or any here. In order to shoot it, just like the mute jammer, you have to expose yourself to kids and rotate in order to shoot it. And actually, as a matter of fact, if you have it on the wall, they have to actually get in order to shoot it. And then the mute jammer here, if you only want to put one here, you can also put two. And they destroy the shield after burning the ADS. They think this is safe. They think the ADS is elsewhere. They go and throw a nade, and their nade is gotten, and that is a massive, super important piece of utility that is just gone. Anytime you can take away the enemy's utility is like, it's almost as good as killing one of them. So the one here, you can it'll stop any nades from coming over. Here, we'll stop any nades from attic breach. Window, double window. We'll stop any nades or whatever from double window. And actually, I should probably clarify for what I was saying before. So, drones, utility, whatever, are like an attacker's second life, or are just incredibly important to the attacker. So, for example, Pox stated, if you don't know who Pox is, I don't know how you know about me if you don't know who he is. He's a TikTok champion guy who's insanely good at the game, and one of the things he mentioned is that to treat drones as second, third lives. And when you destroy drones, you are essentially whittling down on the attacker's lives, right? Because they will have less confidence in their gunfights because they don't know exactly where you are because their drones are gone. So this goes same thing with utility, right? So when I was saying before, the ADS here, they destroy this shield, they go and nade over here, that's gone. Well, guess what? Now, that person, if it was only have one person with nades and they use nades to get the shield, they don't have any nades left to get the shield because they just wasted it. Now, this shield is free to stay here and watch Trophy with little to no consequence. So, yeah, that's it. And then, alright, let's see, who's next? Let's see, so Cade or Bandit? Bandits, or Cade, you're going to want to get this wall. and you want to get this wall. The reason why, you want to make getting into attic as difficult as possible because it is a decently powerful position. And you want to make this as difficult as possible to get into because this is a very powerful position to attackers because it lets you see most of sight and will also let you rush and go to any other default plants. So you could choose to plant here if you know the defenders on white. You could plant default, which is right here, which is generally recommended because you can't really be seen from anywhere. This is also a default spot, especially if they take from attic. And then there's also kids default, which is right here on the bottom. And so if you choose to pick a Melusi, firstly, the mute jammers that were previously either here or at the double window, you're going to want to put on both the walls that I mentioned. And then Melusis, there's a couple ones that you almost should definitely have and a couple that don't matter. So you should firstly have one on these stairs here. You want to have it on the stairs because you want to put any kind of sound cues on stairs because it will stop the attackers from just rushing right up and getting angles, pushing into sight, doing a fast execute, right? So you could have it on this side here, you could have it on this side here, you can have it here. The only thing I would not recommend is putting it here because it lets them walk really far up, and if they shoot, they can just pre-fire Bolo. They can't really pre-fire the door because they'd get hit, but they can still pre-fire Bolo without hitting the Banshee. Another Banshee right here. With this hatch open, they will be forced to hit the Banshee no matter what. And since the hatch is open, once the Banshee's hit, you know exactly the distance where they are. They're only in this little area here. They could be slightly farther back, but you get the point. That one is a fairly strong Banshee. And the other one doesn't really matter, so you can choose to put one here if you would like to have an added sound cue if they push in from master for a C4 or whatever. You can place one on the double window. I wouldn't put it below, I'd put it here. And then you can also put one by breach if you'd like, if you expect them to open breach and you want to just contest a little more. Yeah, that's about it from Lucy. So I'm going to show you a couple things outside before I really get in the building, finish up, and then I'll tell you more about the shield ops. So, firstly, when you have the vertical hole inside of Master, you need to be careful because there won't always be a repel sound. Because you can just vault up on that, sprint and spin up space, vault through, and there you go. Now, you're already in Master, and it took me like, I don't know, like a whopping 4 or 5 seconds to do all that. So let me just do some of the basic site setup. Obviously I can't do reinforcements, but just give me a second. Okay. Alright, so something I'm going to add really quick first is that there are certain windows that you want to shoot the glass out of, and there's certain ones that you don't, namely repel windows. So, for example, this window is not a repel window. I personally would not shoot the glass out of this window. The reason being, let's say the attacker is doing a late rotate, right? They're coming in from Big Tower, and they're making their way around because they couldn't open attic wall, and they need to come in through attic, because this is where they are. In order for them to get into attic again, they have to open this window. If this window is already open from earlier, I mean, there's not really much you can do. But the glass is still yet another extra sound cue for them to run into. Let them know where they are. But for example, something where your repel would be, like this, you want to break the glass off of. What that does, this glass acts as like a buffer for sound, so you won't be able to hear anything at all not anything at all. I suppose that's exaggeration. You won't be able to hear very much when there's still glass on the windows. But when the glass off the windows, you can hear a lot more. Alright, so let's get to the shields. So for your second shield ops, like I said, you've got either Frost, Warden, Alibi, Echo, or Tachanka. So let's start with Frost. So first, very strong Frost mat right here. Because they push in late or even at a normal time, and they gotta push in through here, and then they hit the Frost mat when they're focused on either your feet holes here, or more likely, the head glitch or anything else in kids. Second one I would recommend for the Frost mat is right here, right underneath the double window. You're gonna have one right on either side, and I'll show you why. It's because when you vault through a window, particularly a double. I believe that's client-side debris. Huh. Alright, anyways, when you go through a window, particularly a double window, it is very difficult to shoot both frost mats because you're going to hit both. So you vault in. See, in that case, I would have gotten them. But for example, if like I vaulted over and accidentally only shot one once, I'd hit the frost and I'd be down to probably dead. It's very irritating as an attacker to have to deal with double frost mats, and it's somewhat unexpected. Especially paired with a mute. When you have mute jammers just about everywhere, it will be difficult for the attackers to even know that there's double frost mats there. And also, with some repel angles, like this one, you cannot actually get things off the windows, which also reminds me. Do not put frost mats on windows with repels. Because, I can't repel at this? Oh well. Because all you gotta do is repel up here. This window you actually can't because of the way that you sit. You can't actually see the frost mat, so you have to do it with upside down repel, so you have to do it normal. But either way, you could shoot the frost mat, and that's just wasted utility as frost. Another example, which I would not recommend for this site, but for other sites or other maps, if you have a frost mat right here on the stairs, and attackers coming up the stairs, they're not going to be focused towards the bottom of the stairs like this. They're going to think they're going to get shot in the back of the head. So when you have double stairs like this, like a flight of stairs, they're going to be focused on this, and then they back themselves right into your frost mat. That's a free kill. And even if it's not a free kill, it's free 80 HP. Or more, depending if it's a free armor or not. They'll be down to 20. Okay. So, alright, next up. Let's say next one we're going to do Warden. So Warden, you're mainly probably going to want to play right around here. Reason being, let's say they open breach, they smoke it off to go for a default plant. Well, now you as Warden can be safe from a trophy from the shield, and can see breach, and with your glasses, you can see through the smoke and get a free pick or even two as attackers are trying to capitalize on the smokes in the breach. It's just a very so Warden is generally frowned upon because he's considered like a super situational operator. But something that you have to think about when picking someone like Warden or any other situational operator is how situational it's situational is literally in the name. You have to think about the situation you're going to be putting yourself in. In this case, it's probably like a 30-40% chance in most ELO that they're going to try to open breach and push through with smokes, whatever. And you, as Warden there, will be there to stop them. It's a niche situational operator, but in this case, it's gonna work. Warden also still has a good kit with a 1.5 on MPX. I will admit MPX shoots marshmallows, but it's still got a 1.5. And has no recoil, so that's pretty good. He also has choice of SMG-12, which I would recommend, or the pistol. And then Next operator, let's go Alibi. So first things I'm going to say is that almost everyone that I've seen play Alibi is playing Alibi wrong. You're probably one of them. So, most people play Alibi like this. They throw their Alibi clone, let's say here, and the attacker, let's say, opens big window. It comes in, they swing, they shoot it, they get pinged for the next 4 seconds or whatever, and then they don't shoot it again, or they shoot the base and they destroy it. That is not useful. That is not good utility. When you do that, you are literally wasting utility. Because even if back here, oh, it's shot it once, oh no, pinged for 4 seconds, alright, well, it's still there, well, it's still the same clone, I'm just not going to shoot it again. What you need to do is put it close to things, particularly vaultable things, and places that it can't be shot from an upside down rappel, to force the attackers to avoid it when they're shooting. For example, if you put it really close to this window here, it cannot be shot from up there, and any attacker on Gen Repel is going to be forced to avoid said Alibi clone when trying to shoot anyone, whether that be Trophy Door or Attic, or through White and trying to rotate the dorms. It doesn't matter. They're going to have to avoid that Alibi clone if they don't want to get pinged, because when they get pinged, they get pre-fired. And even if they don't get pre-fired, there's still the risk of getting pre-fired, so they'll back off. That is Ghost Pressure. Or another example of Ghost Pressure, I should say. You can also put one right here. Also cannot be gotten by upside down rappel, or even up here. So, as long as it's close enough. So, when they jump in, they have 2 choices. They could jump in, hit it, and get pinged, so you know they're there. They could jump in and shoot it, and then you hear them shoot, so you know they're there. Or they can jump in, shoot it, miss, get pinged, and they shot, so you know that they're there. Alright. And then we got Echo. So Echo's nerf made him get played a lot less, but he also got banned a lot less because people assumed that he wasn't as strong, but that's really not true. And I would actually say it's the opposite. It technically isn't the opposite because having an invisible drone is incredibly strong. However, the fact that his drone is now invisible made people actually think about what they're going to do with it and how smart they can be with it. Because even still, when you were echoing, once you shot your thing, you became visible. And they just accepted that and just let themselves, you know, the echo players, whatever, just let their drones get shot at that point. Or they would try to just run away. They weren't thinking about actually hiding it. So, one thing you could do, throw a drone right here, leave it up on top of this bunk bed here, and unless the attackers have a drone up there, they have no way of knowing that there's an echo drone up here. So, what happens when they come and plant, like say, like here or something, echo drone goes up, stops plant, goes right back down, attackers can't do anything about it. Another good one, it's right here. You have it right here on the couch, thrown here. It goes up and sticks to the bottom of this table right here, and you can shoot default plant. And then you move out here, put it right up here, and you can shoot this default plant. Echo is still a great operator, and I will die on that. Hill. I just don't play him because I don't find it fun. I don't really find 3 armors fun. But that's besides the point. Last is Tachanka. Tachanka is yet another incredibly underrated operator. So, I will explain. Let us say, attacker's coming up white, right? Coming up white. Smoke throws his smoke canister. He throws it here. It hits. It detonates it, and it goes out to, let's say, like around here on the stairs. Well, that means the attacker's going to be forced back. He could fall back here, or he could just sit here, right outside the smoke. So when you come to swing, it's just an easy pick. Or you stay passive, and the smoke goes away, or it's about to go away, and he just swings you before you can throw another smoke. However, with Tachanka, do a couple things. Let's say you shoot one here, it comes here, it comes to the bottom of the stairs, and it gets the player down here to move back. Or there's also the possibility that the player pushes through, which would be a serious problem if it was smoke. But it's not smoke, it's Tachanka, and he has a semi-automatic area denial. So what you do, you shoot one here, so it goes right to the bottom, or near the bottom. Then you shoot one here, so it goes and gets the top bit of the actual stairs, and then you shoot one here, and it gets a stair landing, and all of a sudden you have a giant like stair hallway of death for any. So when if they tried to actually push up, they're probably dead. Tachanka is highly underrated. Also for the fact that he has the same destructibility as Smoke or any other operator with any primary shotgun. Except his is an LMG. So, yeah, that pretty much covers everything. If you enjoyed the video, please like, and I'd appreciate you subscribe as well. I would like to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. It's my dream to someday be a full-time content creator, and I'm quite far off now, but maybe some point in the future. That is my dream. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video today. Leave a comment on what you'd like to see next, and I'll see you next time.